Hey, what's up, everybody out there? Welcome to another wonderful podcast of self care. And I got just one question. Do y'all care about y'all self care?
Yes.
Yes. We're going to jump right in. We got a nice topic today. All right. And it's dealing with being alone but not abandoned. You know what I'm saying? And I know this raises a lot of issues within myself because, as y'all all know from past podcasts, is that this is my main topic of being, growing up kind of lonely, you know. And yes, I did experience a lot of emotional pain. Yes, I developed a lot of trust issues, and well, the coping mechanism was there, but it just the social mechanism wasn't there, and it took its toll on me. But as time passed, I I developed the coping of it. I started finding support. I started developing self compassion. I got with my higher power and all of that. But it's not all about me. We're here to have a discussion. So we're gonna hit isolation and abandonment directly with with relatable healing and transform loneliness from a curse to a calling. Plus help engage ourselves to build spiritual resilience. All right. So we're gonna hop right into the first question, and that happens to be, when was the last time you felt truly alone, even in a room full of people? I'll go first if nobody else wants to. I can remember it vividly because it was my first time going to a long term program. You know what I'm saying? And I was in New York to stay in New York for the first time. I didn't know nobody. I wasn't used to being around people. It was just a scary situation. I guess you know what, I lied because my first time feeling alone was that first day of school. You know what I'm saying? When mom leave you at the door and you like unsure of what to do or who to do it with. But those are my two main ways. I mean, times that the first time I felt alone in a crowded room. But anybody else? Nobody else. Okay.
I'll say one. I,
Camera.
Yo, Mike, like, huh?
Hello.
Eric to Mike.
Whoa. It's all right, Mike. It's all right. Wow. What was I saying?
We all good?
As I was saying, I was really never alone, but I felt alone when I lost my son. That was just a lonely experience, knowing he's not around anymore, knowing that he wasn't going to be around anymore, even though I had a whole lot of support.
feel alone, but I know deep down inside that I'm not. I know that the God of my understanding is with me. Because I just, sometimes I've just been debating, like, Dad, should I leave, go to Virginia, with my aunt, with my brother? I still feel alone, for real, even around people. So I can definitely identify with that, Jasper, but I know that deep down inside that I'm not alone, that God is with me, and everything is going to be all right. But I feel this way all the time, for real, But no matter what, I know everything is going to be all right. I'm just going to continue to hold on and trust God. And like I said, I surrender it to Him every day. Like, Daddy, oh God, what do I want to do? Leave here, go move. But again, I'm just praying because I don't want to just act out on something and, just trusting God and knowing that I'm going to be all right. And like my sister just said, this too shall pass. So I know I'm going to be all right.
Yeah, because it's definitely a true story that time heals some wounds, well, most wounds, and as after I got over the initial feeling lonely, in that school or in that program that I went to for the first time, a little bit of time goes by and you develop a friendship with somebody. It's like almost like it's like almost always gonna be somebody there to be that support that's needed, but it just takes a little time. Sometimes it takes some people a little more time to develop that relationship with somebody that they just meet, and that's how it was for me, and even to this day, um but we find what we need along the way. It's always, once we get comfortable in that atmosphere, or we get to know people, people get to know us, and the loneliness goes away. And that's what I just try to.
Trust ourselves.
Yeah, I learn to be on my side. Even though strangers on the outside of me, I know me, so I don't have to worry about not knowing somebody else because I know me. And some as time went by, that grew, and I got stronger within myself with a higher power, and all the things of that nature. So moving right along, if nobody else wants to chime in on when was the last time they truly felt alone, even in a room full of people. If nobody else, the second question is, what if your loneliness isn't punishment but preparation? Anybody got anything on their loneliness? Becoming aware of their loneliness being a preparation for them to get stronger within themselves.
I'm Bobby. Thank you for leading us in this topic. One of the things that I find out, loneliness is never a preparation. Loneliness is a state of mind. And the reason why I say it's a state of mind is because the same thing that you said, you can be in a room full of people and feel alone. We choose to be alone. It's a choice. There's a difference between being depressed than isolation. You know what I'm saying? So I think the question should have been reworded a little different from as it can be a preparation, because loneliness is a state of mind. And when we prepping for something, we have to be in a positive, you know what I'm saying, mode to try to get to where we're going. And loneliness it's just a state, because first I had to learn how to just be with myself. It was number one. And two is that I learned that my communication levels needed work, because I didn't know how to tell people how I was feeling. So because I couldn't tell you how I was feeling, I kept it to myself, and that would make me isolate. So once I learned how to articulate and say, listen, man, I don't know what I'm feeling. And then someone, that had a discussion with me, and I felt connected, but loneliness is there no more, because now I'm connecting to people. And the same thing in a room full of people. It's that state of mind. But once someone engages you, that state of mind leaves. And yes, and then the preparation can start for your next level.
Yeah, I love the way you broke that down, Bobby, because the first thing you mentioned was getting comfortable with self, and you definitely explained it. Once I got comfortable with me, then opening up to others, it was the green light at that point, because and it's not it's hard to put a finger on exactly what it is because it could be a lot of things. The treatment at home. The way my early life was. We weren't that sociable of a family. Everybody kind of was away doing their own thing. But coming here and picking up their books or self-help books and reading, and they got today we got YouTube where we could go in and check some videos that allow us to come out of ourselves, break that shell and move on into the next era of our lives with others. That it's really important. Anybody else got anything about their loneliness isn't a punishment but a preparation, but keeping in mind what Bobby said?
Can I add to that?
Sure.
Because sometimes when God puts us somewhere, we used to say places us in the desert, and sometimes we get incarceration, and it seems like we're alone. But then God places us somewhere to keep us secure, right? And jail doesn't seem like a place that God should put us, but sometimes He has to put us those places. Now, it's not there to isolate us, right? It's there to help us think about the decisions that we're making in our lives. And once we connect back with God, then we understand where we start going off the path, you know what I'm saying? And then we can come back. And I think those are the preparation times that, God puts for us when we get somewhere where we don't really want to be, but in actuality, it's the best place for us to be at that time.
Yes.
Those are the things that we start preparing, doing preparation. And usually, He puts somebody there to guide us. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody we don't even know.
Okay, moving right along. That loneliness piece. I don't know. I mean, nobody deserves to be lonely. Sometimes it's just something that happens. Small families or, death in the family. Unfortunately, some people lose their parents at an early age and have to go through a bunch of things through foster care. And I could have, I was lucky enough not to have to, go that route, but I could definitely identify with how tremendous of an ordeal that can be, you know. Well, let's dive into the third question. How can you learn to be at peace with your own company before seeking someone else's? It's a good one. Yeah.
I don't, RJ right here. Being true to yourself. Repeat that question again one more time, Jasper. What you said?
Oh, how can you learn to be at peace with your own company before seeking someone else's?
Loving yourself, caring about yourself.
Yes.
Look at that. Look at the man in the mirror. You gotta love yourself first before you want to start spreading love to others or you want to interact. Because if you don't love yourself, how you gonna, interact with your brother or your sister if you don't have no self-esteem? You gotta have self-esteem. I don't need nobody else to give me their self-esteem for me.
Right. Right.
If your light shine, your light shine. Your light shine. You don't need to boast yourself. Your work speaks for itself. But I'm talking for self. I just, I love myself. I know who I am. So that's why I could get close to Michelle or get close to Bobby because, I know who I am. Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry. Make sure they had the one with my teeth in my mouth. We'll edit that off so my sister shit is glad. All right.
but it's definitely hitting it right on the head. You know, when you find that way to be at peace with yourself. And for me, what I'm learning is like the more information that I get hold to, the more comfortable I feel within myself. You know, the more comfortable I feel within myself, I don't need somebody else's validation to be who I am. You know, I can my lane could be slow. Somebody could be in the fast lane. I'm in my slow lane. I'm where I belong. If I want to move over there, then I make the necessary adjustments to get there for myself, not for somebody else.
That part.
Yes, 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 yes.
I had no choice but to be okay with myself, right? 2 years of incarceration and whatnot. I didn't. I didn't like myself for the longest time, and I wasn't okay with myself. And yeah, the quote, solitude is just the absence. Is yeah, it's just the absence of love. It's the classroom where yeah, love teaches you who you are, and basically that's what it was. Like I had to learn to love myself. Like I had to learn to accept myself, and then I learned to love myself, to be capable to love others, to be all right, to be with myself when I'm in a room with nobody, and to be okay when I'm in a room with a lot of people. And I had to learn that. That's an amazing quote. Like I was trying to memorize it, like, but I just started drawing blanks because this is a deep topic. It's a very deep, important topic, I think, for every individual in the world. Like, that's where I'm at with it. But yeah, once I learned, I had no choice to. Like I said, for years I tried to escape how I felt, who I was, that I wasn't accepted by others, that I wasn't loved by others, and I had good reason to think those things. I had very valid reasons to believe that. But like after being forced into isolation, into solitude, inside a cell, I had no choice. What was I going to do? Walk around miserable for the rest of my life? Like, I'm just as deserving of love, but like, then again, I wasn't being the real me. I really wasn't being the real me. Like we had a podcast about the faces. I wore faces. I did those, so I wasn't even being real to myself. And until I dropped all those masks, and until I dropped that mask within myself, was I able to love and accept myself. And then once that happened, my life started to progress. Thank you.
Okay. Well, anybody else got anything that they want to add to this discussion? Uh, you know, coming from the loneliness or being alone, feeling abandoned, when it never really wasn't an abandoned issue, you know, and I notice it now, but at the time of, you know, when you don't have that extra information, things used to be like it used to feel like earthquakes in a room, you know, like I used to really be out of my comfort zone, so to speak, you know. But okay, Easy, you got something?
Yes, I'm saying this one as a podcast member, two at podcast member and assistant on the team, and helping putting this together with the team. When I read it and knew that this was the episode, it was kind of difficult to just keep all your thoughts. But now hearing everybody else's brings back the clarity that came to me when all of this was originally put together. It's a taught learned behavior. Our abandonment issues is the same abandonment issues from the parents that raised us. The things that they struggled to deal with and things that they struggled to understand passed on to us due to the negligence that was done to them. So it was a repetitive abandonment. It was like I'm not doing it intentionally,
but the things that I didn't receive, the nurturing, was also not nurtured. The areas that needed patching for them weren't patched for me. So when it got down to me thinking that I'm okay and that this is normal, it wasn't. I was being told this, I was being told that, not knowing the actual truth of its origin until I realized that yes, there is something wrong. But I need to figure it out and not just take other people's word telling me that something's wrong with me, making me feel like I have to be alone because somebody else is making me feel alone or because somebody is saying I should be alone. And I'm only speaking from my own personal endeavors growing up. Because everyone's loneliness wasn't always because somebody was pointing at you or outside of your family. It could have been right in the family, like as you said earlier.
Yes.
I grew up with abandonment in family. Not necessarily like nobody outside my family really abandoned me per se. Like I was left alone, but not in a sense of where like dealing with family. It don't affect to me. It doesn't affect me when outside sources abandon me. I'm cool with that. But when being that it was family, it was difficult. I had to find that resolve in myself and knowing that I can turn to Michelle. Even though she's not my blood sister, I can get a hug from her. I can get love from her. I can get mother energy from her. I can't replace her son, but dang, she probably don't beat me up like one. But at the end of the day, I feel the love, not replacing, but increasing and filling those patches that I didn't get the nurturing from the areas from my mother. But I can get it from Michelle. I can get it from Connie. I can get it from Lois. I can get it from Anne Marie. As it was said even earlier from Bobby, it's not necessary isolation. It was all pre-planned and prepared and prepared from Father. My whole path life was already predestined. It's just the choices in which I chose to make upon the situations after they happen to decide on how I want to express what happened. Rather, I want to express growth or failure. The choice was up to me, and I chose to grow.
Yes. Go ahead, Mike. Bobby.
Uh, I just want to speak on that abandonment thing. And for me, the abandonment thing came from expectations. And early on, I had expectations that my needs were going to be met by my parents. And every child has that expectation. And it was too, the expectations became unrealistic. Then I started feeling like, oh, y'all don't love me because I'm placing unrealistic expectations on you. I'm asking you to buy me things that y'all can't afford. And as a child, I'm looking at it like, y'all don't love me. You know what I'm saying? Not realizing that they don't got the money to buy the things that a lot of my other friends had. So it was those expectations that started this whole little thing of resentments. And later on, the resentments turned into, grudges. And that's where the abandonment and the isolation started. Because now, I don't want to be in the room with somebody you're mad at. So I'm isolating. I'm choosing to isolate. And what happens is we start training our mind how to be in a room with people and still be alone. And we do it to ourselves. And it took me a long time to realize that a lot of the stuff I'm going through is self-induced. It's not coming from the outside. It's just me expecting people to make me feel better. And one of the things we know, you gotta find happiness in yourself. People only enhances your happiness. They don't make you happy. That's something that has to come from within. So this is where we come and we start having the joy of the Lord. And we know that the joy that we get is not about presents or events. Like happiness is be about talking about the physical. So it's those physical things that make me happy when you buy me a present, when you tell me, a good compliment about myself, you know. But those inside stuff, like, my self-care, what am I feeding myself? Because, listen, we got gates. And our gates are our eyes, our mouth, and our ears. And it's what are we listening to? What are we watching? Who's speaking to us in our lives? It is so important to have all those things, right? And know what's going on, because then you find out why you isolated. You find out why you feel an abandonment. Because a lot of it is self-induced. It doesn't come from the outside. It comes from us. And that's it. Thanks for letting me share.
Okay, so Bobby, again, you hit it on the nose. Get that information to help us be at one with ourselves, and as we are at one with ourselves, we can be available to others. You know what I mean? So with all that, I think we had a nice one. I just got one question for y'all. Do y'all care about y'all self-care? Yeah.